Yo, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How y'all doing today? How is what are we on? Thursday? Let's see here. Is it Thursday? It is Thursday. I hope everybody's Thursday is going very well. I hope everybody is productive in their Thursday morning today. I wanted to come on and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how I work and what's available. And the reason why I want to do this is because, I get a lot of people that reach out to me and ask me things and ask me questions and, seek advice and guidance. And so with that in mind, I thought it would be smart that I kind of talk about the flow of how I work. So that way everybody has an understanding of what's available to them and what I do and how I do it. And I think that's going to be very helpful for people. So first and foremost, right, I do my best to cover a lot of topics, at least provide an overview of a lot of different things, hashtag for the free. And I save all of those videos. So those videos are available on my Instagram and they're also available on YouTube. And I always think that that's a good start, right? Because, a lot of your questions, especially some of the more basic questions, have probably already been covered in my videos. And so because that information is free, right, you should always get that information first. Get what's free first, right? And I recommend that. That's why I put it out there, right? At the end of the day, what I do is about benefiting and impacting the community in a positive way, right? So it's not about, necessarily the money for me. It's about the impact. It's about the progression. It's about that benefit. And so I recommend that the first thing you do when you're considering working with me or asking me questions or doing anything like that is to first and foremost check out the videos, right? Check out the videos and see if your questions have already been answered. I do videos pretty regularly. And in those videos, I'm going to continue to cover lots of different topics. Now, if you can't find, what you're looking for in the videos that I've already done, then the next thing you should do is probably buy a book, right? And the reason why that is, so I've written 6 books. Let's talk about that, right? So let's talk about what is available, right, for the cheap, right? So first and foremost, I've written 6 books. I wrote one on credit, 101 easy ways to boost your credit score. So I wrote a book on that. And so, between the 4 videos I did, the 4-part series I did on credit and the free letters that I put out in my hashtag for the free resources and that book, majority of your questions, majority of the things you need to be able to repair your credit are there. So, it wouldn't make sense to reach out to me and book an assessment for something like that, because you can get that information so much cheaper and mostly for the free. So, I want to make that very clear. The next book I wrote is Investing for Success. I wrote a book on investing for success, investing tips for the everyday person. And the reason why I wrote that book is because a lot of people ask me questions about, basic investment things. And so I think that I felt that it was very important, to write a book on that topic and cover a lot of basic things that you need to be thinking about, before you start investing. And then some of the more common investment asset classes that are available for you. And I talk about some of the pitfalls that, you can run into in investing and what to look out for and how to prepare yourself and protect yourself from those things, right? So reading that book first may likely answer some of the questions that you thought about asking me, right? And so, that would be the first step to being able to get your answers. And if the answers aren't there or you have more deeper questions, then and only then does it make sense to book an assessment and have a discussion with me, because, why pay extra for something that you don't have to, right? So then I went on, everybody's talking about cryptocurrency and, investing in cryptocurrency. And I do agree that this is an exciting asset class. It can be a potentially very profitable asset class for you, right? But there's a lot that you need to know about that before you get involved. So I wrote a book specifically on mastering Bitcoin, the ins and outs of cryptocurrency. That's the name of the book. I wrote that book specifically because it covers everything from start to finish on cryptocurrency. From what cryptocurrency is, to where the valuation is, to what blockchain is, to what mining is, how all of that works, what cryptocurrency wallets are, what the exchanges are. I cover all of these different things. And I cover them to give you a comprehensive understanding of what this asset class is before you get involved in this asset class. And I think that that is very, 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 very important, right? So I would advise that before you come talk to me, you read the book first, right? Reading the book first will likely answer a lot of your questions. Now, aside from that, I wrote a book called Social Media Marketing, Profiting from Social Media. I wrote this book for business owners and influencers that are, marketing products, marketing services, things of that nature that have an interest in, understanding how to leverage social media for customer acquisition, gaining new customers, and for, how to turn a following into a customer base that's going to generate you money. So I wrote a book on that. And, so it's very smart. I come on, I put out videos. Yes, of course, hashtag for the free. But based on those videos, people reach out to me and ask me questions. And a lot of the questions that I'm being asked are already covered in the books. And so the challenge is that, booking an assessment to talk to me about something that you could have gotten, a lot cheaper simply by getting the book, again, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to me. And I don't, I'm not here for that. I want you to get this information as cheaply as you possibly can and be able to maximize the resources at your disposal to be able to help yourself and benefit. So the other book I wrote was I Got a Business Grant, right? And what is that book about? A lot of people hear about business grants, that it's possible to get business grants, that and when business owners start up, of course they're looking for money. So one of the avenues they try to explore is business granting. I wrote a book on that to give you an understanding of what the expectations are when you're doing a business grant or trying to apply for a business grant, what the different types of business grant categories are, and how you can best put yourself in a position to be a candidate for a business grant. And I think that's important. I've had people ask me about that. I cover a lot of that in the books. Lastly, I wrote a book called The Online Business Blueprint, starting and how to start and grow, a step-by-step guide to starting and growing in online business. And I wrote that book because, in this day and age, in this technological landscape, social media, e-commerce businesses are where it's at. I also wrote this book because I wanted to show people how it is that you can get into business and start generating profit without putting a whole lot of startup capital into it. I mean, you can get an e-commerce business going for less than $1,000, and that's real. And you can start turning a profit. But there are some things that go into that. And I provide a step-by-step framework of how you would go about doing that and how you would start something like that up. So, I always recommend that you read the books first and watch the videos. That's first and foremost, right? See, booking an assessment with me, right? When you book an assessment with me, first of all, what is an assessment when you book an assessment? An assessment is for me to get an understanding of where you are in your business life cycle. It gives me an opportunity to see where your level of knowledge is and where you are in the development framework. It helps me understand and identify what it is that you need and how it is that I'm going to be able to help you get where it is that you want to be. So I ask a lot of questions in the assessment, and I listen to what you say. The other thing assessments allow me to do is to see how well you receive information and how well you listen, and to assess if I believe that you're going to be able to follow instructions well enough and execute at the times you need to execute to be able to get where it is that you want to be. And, I do this for a couple of different reasons. Number one, my reputation, my credibility is everything to me. It's all I have. You know what I mean? Without a reputation, without credibility, you have nothing, and you can do nothing, and you can make no impact. And so for me, I'm very cautious about who I work with, because I want to make sure that you're actually going to be able to succeed in the way you want to succeed, and that I will be a good resource for you, that we will be a good fit working together. Just because you book an assessment and I have an assessment with you doesn't mean that I'm going to consult you, because I may make the determination that, you're not conducive to receiving information well. You're not, willing to listen. You're not willing to follow through. And when I see those things, right, I know already that working with you is going to be a headache, and that you're not going to be able to maximize the resource properly. So I opt not to work with you. It's not personal. It's just a business decision, right? At the end of the day, there are a lot of people that want to talk to me. And, I'd rather spend my time with those who can achieve the maximum benefit from the resource, as opposed to those that don't. It just is what it is, right? There are only so many hours in a day. I have a lot going on, so I have to be very selective and very strategic about the way I use my time and who I invest my time, knowledge, and resources, experience, execution abilities, etc. into. So that's very, 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 very important to understand. If it is determined that, from an assessment that, we can work together, then we move into the consulting phase, and I lay out a plan for you of what it's going to take to get where it is that you want to be, and how we're going to do this step by step by step by step. That's how it works. Now, the reason why I'm having this discussion and explaining these things to you is because I want you to get the maximum benefit out of this resource, and I want you to get the maximum benefit for your dollars, right? So, for example, it would be a complete and utter waste of money if you book me for an assessment and you ask me questions that are covered in the online business blueprint. Because the fact of the matter is, you paid me for my time to answer questions that you could have answered for yourself a lot cheaper, because I already wrote a book on it. And I don't want to see people wasting their money booking assessments to ask me questions about things that they could have easily gotten for a lot cheaper. That's real. Like, I'm not in that business. That's not the business I'm in. Being successful in business is about taking the time to do some reading. You got to do some reading. You got to gain some knowledge. You got to get some information. So, it's about that. And the other part is, it's being strategic about the way you deploy your capital. Just because you have access to capital, just because you have money to spend, doesn't necessarily mean that, you're spending that money wisely. And every dollar that you spend unwisely is a dollar less that you have to be able to grow and scale your business properly. And so it is very, very important for me, right, that we have this discussion right here, so you can understand how it is that you can maximize this resource. Now, conversely, if you reach out to me for something like Dun & Bradstreet, paid X scores, how to build a good Dun & Bradstreet credit profile for your business, of course, I haven't done any videos on this. I haven't, written any books on this. That's a good discussion to have, right? That's a good thing to have an assessment about. Sure. You want to talk about government granting. You want to talk about how bid proposals work, how to get an SBA 8A certification, what the process looks like for that, how to get in, and do a SAMS registration, all of these things. Of course, I haven't done any videos on that. I haven't written a book on that. That's a good question to be asking. That's something that you should probably book an assessment for, and I'd be happy to talk to you about. If you're in the healthcare space and you want to talk about how it is that you might be able to get Medicare, Medicaid approval, and be able to get United Healthcare approval, Champus approval, so that way you're able to bill to the different insurance providers, well, yes, that is a conversation that we should have, because at the end of the day, that's a conversation that's going to benefit you. Now, at the end of the day, if you decide that, okay, hey, I'm at the phase now where I need to write a business plan, and I'm telling you, if you're in business, you need a business plan. Let's start there, right? That's a good conversation to have. Hey, I'm trying to develop a business plan. I have some questions about that. Yeah, I haven't done a video on that at this time. I haven't written a book specifically on writing business plans and how you do that. Yes, that's a good conversation to have. At the end of the day, my point of this conversation is very, very, very simple. Always, 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 when you are starting a business, you already have a business, you are thinking of starting a business, always make sure that you are using the resources at your disposal properly. Make sure that you are not spending extra money that you don't have to, and make sure that you are taking advantage of whatever free resources you can get and whatever cheap resources that you can get to help yourself. At the end of the day, when I talk to people, when I work with people, one of the things I stress is you got to help me help you, right? And the way you help me help you is that you are receptive, you listen, you gain the knowledge, when I give you homework assignments and research assignments, you actually do the research, because it's not about me. This is a journey that we take together. Consulting with me is a journey we take together. And so it's not about me just doing everything for you. It's about me empowering you with knowledge to be able to do some things for yourself as well. Because again, think about it like this. If I do everything for you and you learn nothing, that means you're not better off as a business person. Yes, your business is better. Yes, you're making more money. Sure. But at the end of the day, you have not gained in knowledge. And so that means that if you start another business or you go down this road again, you're going to end up having to pay someone to do the same things over again. The best way to take advantage of a consulting resource is to ask as many questions as you can, learn as much as you can from them. Why? You're paying for it. And the more you learn from them, the more questions you ask, the more information they empower you with, right? The less you have to spend the next time around, because now you know how to do these things for yourself. And I'm a big proponent on educating my clients. Like, I don't just do all the work for you, I educate you, because I want you to grow not only as a business, but I want you to grow as a business owner. That is very important to me. So I just wanted to, take the time to have this discussion with you guys, share a few things with you guys about, my workflow process, how I work, and the resources available to you. As always, feel free to like, subscribe, follow, share this information with anybody that you think can benefit. The more people that hear this information, the more ears that this touches, the more people that will be able to benefit. So I appreciate you guys for taking a time to listen. Of course, we always hashtag get real woke around here. It's always, a lot of the things I do are always hashtag for the free. And we always hashtag make it make sense. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.